Good morning, everyone. This is Lisa Listen with lisalisten.com and the blog Are You My Cousin? So it's Tuesday morning and time for another Tuesday's genealogy tip. And today I wanted to share with you and talk to you a little bit about what a CDV photograph is. It's called a Carte de Visite. Now that is a French term, and that is probably my southern accent going in, so I'm not sure I pronounced it correctly, but it is a Carte de Visite. You can actually see it spelled in below this video. For my purposes, I'm going to call it a CDV, and this is what it looks like. Now, I talked a little bit earlier in the month on our Focus on the Photos series about a cabinet card. Now, a cabinet card was much larger, but this is a CDV, and they became very popular because it was the first photograph that was made with a glass negative. And what that meant to the populace is that they could then have a photograph taken and multiple copies made. And so that's how photographers would market these little CDVs. It also served as a bit of a calling card, as you would share these with friends back and forth. It is a photograph. It is on a thin piece of paper. You can't really appreciate that here in the video, but it's a thin piece of paper onto kind of a cardstock, a thick cardstock. I don't know if you can see that as well. So really one of the big characteristics of a CDV is the fact that they were small, smaller than a cabinet card. And this one actually measures, excuse me, 2 1/4 inches across and 3 1/4, I think it was 3 1/4 vertically. So it is much smaller than a cabinet card. Some of the very early CDVs were very small. They could even be dime size, and those were some of your earliest. Now, there are some characteristics, just like looking at a cabinet card or any photograph, that will indicate to you the age of the photograph or the date that it might have been taken. Now, one thing with a CDV, when you're looking at these, is you want to look at the corners. These actually are rounded corners. Let me see that. So these have the rounded corners. Now, rounded corners indicate that this was probably taken after 1865 to 1870. So it's going to be a little bit later, definitely. The early CDVs had square corners. Okay. Now, sometimes you have to be a little careful because they, as people started putting these in photograph books or albums, they would cut things to make it look right, to make them fit correctly. So look at the corners. Sometimes it's not always exactly, but if you have one with nice rounded corners, you can tell this one is original. That would indicate a little bit later. So that's one thing to look at. Just like with your other photographs that you're looking at, you want to look at the person in the photograph. You want to look at what they're wearing, what the style of their dress would be to indicate who they might be. You also want to check the back of the photograph. Now, I realize this is showing a mirror image and probably can't read this, but this is Blunt, Danville, Virginia. Okay, again, another clue as to who this might be in my genealogy. Now, I will confess to you, I do not know who this gentleman is. I do believe he is probably of the Richardson family, or perhaps the Elliott family of Pittsylvania County, Virginia. I have not completed my study of this photograph to really know exactly who he is. I am able to place the date after 1870 based on the corners, based on the photographer's stamp in the back, and from there I'm working through my process to evaluate his clothing as well as matching that to my tree. So guys, do you have a small card? Do you have a carte de visite in your collection? I would love to see it if you do. Feel free to post them on the Facebook page at lisalisten.com. Leave a comment. We'd love to share and really explore these together. So guys, have a great day, and we'll see you next Tuesday. Bye.